All right, so I was like a little late of like hearing about it, but I was like, apparently, everybody been talking about the slant that Lamar Jackson been getting. First take with Stephen A. Smith and Shannon. Sort of talking about him, and especially after he beat the shit out of the Lions, and talking about he got who got more pressure on him or Goff. Which I mean, I think it's a fair question if you explain it right. You could say Lamar. Goff got traded for that team won the championship. So you could say Goff does, and you could say Goff doesn't have he's on this team at some point might try to find his replacement compared to Lamar Jackson. But you could say Lamar Jackson if you hold him in high regards of all the other ones with Burrow, who has made a Super Bowl and got close to getting there again. Josh Allen, who they just keep on talking about as MVP and all this other stuff, which Lamar's won one, so therefore, so uh, you could say it from that perspective. But once you start being like, is he worth the money and all this other stuff, then it's starting to be a lot. It's starting to be a little too much with that question. Because I'm like, that's a dumb question. Because we don't ask that question with nobody else really about the money they own. I was like, sometimes we do it with Dak, but that's really because he's also on the Cowboys. We did it with Kirk for a minute, but that's because he got fully guaranteed. But other than that, we don't really talk about, you ain't talking about Josh Allen and his buddy when he's over here throwing the game away all the damn time. Um, Also, too, I mean, until this year, really, Lamar ain't really had the same type of, stuff that Josh Allen and all them had. But it really comes down to do you think he's getting fairly criticized? And to me, it's on first take. So therefore, you should already understand what you're really sort of getting. Um, Also, with some of the questions like these and stuff like that, it really depends on how everybody talks about quarterbacks. Because guess what? Not all quarterbacks are treated equal. Not even all of them are treated fairly. Um, I was like, the question that comes with the quarterbacks is that basically your receiver could be playing like doo doo, and guess what? You threw one turnover that was actually your fault, and we're going to talk about but you should throw that interception. Sometimes we do that, so that's why it doesn't fully bother me. But Lamar's also gotten this type of talk all the time in comparison to all the other quarterbacks. That's where we will say it's not fair. Um, but I'm also somebody that's when they just treat everybody equally. I'm like, no, that's really a false type of way of thinking. Fairly, I was like, yes, you could do that a little bit more or whatever, but some people are going to have a difference of that. And the reason I think Lamar does is he's been polarized ever since he got in the league. But to be honest, what people don't really know is that really he got the Cam Newton effect. Now, for everybody from back, I was like that don't remember, Cam Newton was constantly talked about on First Take and all these other sites in the NFL, network and all that other stuff. He always had questions about him and stuff like that. Can he do this? Can he do that? Especially, I'm like, he won an MVP. I'm like, he finally won the MVP, took the Super Bowl. And guess what? The fumble thing happened. It did that, but you couldn't get away from it. And the thing is that he was always polarizing because he came in the league polarizing. And that just never escapes you. Now, also, I was like, while, especially now, a lot more quarterbacks run than don't, while also throwing, Lamar gets the biggest uh, of that, even though Josh Allen is really doing that now. And then that was really great for some reason with him. But it's really the Cam Newton thing where it's really polarizing figure. But if you think about it, the way they sort of talked about Cam was that they sort of really were talking about him as he does have a lot of potential. Yes, I was like, but they really downed him on his name and stuff where he was he was garbage, he sucked, and all these other things. And then to me, I'm like, if that's the case, why the hell are we talking about him every damn day? I was like, And so like Lamar, like like Lamar can't throw. Lamar just a running back as a quarterback. He ain't that good. Why the hell we talking about him every day? That don't make any sense. Now guess what? Guess who you ain't talking about every day? That sucks, or not sucks, but not that good. I was like, the one. I was like, guess what? We ain't talking about Garoppolo no more, except for the Raiders are bad. We need to talk about it because they're so bad. I was like, Sam Howell. We ain't talking about him. Nope. I was like, hell. I was like, we don't talk about Gino no more. They been doing nothing but winning. I'm trying to think. I was like, hell. I'm trying to think of a team that win that we don't even talk about. Why? Because guess what? We're going to talk about them. Because you got either people that's like, you got people in the middle that can do this, very balancing. But you got people that's like, he a running back as a quarterback. He sucks. Or I was like, he's like top 3 quarterback in the league. He's probably the best quarterback, the other side of the extreme, where it's like, okay, look, he probably like number 4, so 5, something like that. But he's in the top 10, of course. That's where, sort of reasonable at. But that's all this is. It's really nothing to me that's that crazy. I was like, does he get a lot of slander compared to the other quarterbacks? Yes, but it's only because he has so much talkability. I feel like that's not Dak and the Cowboys, and that's really because it's the Cowboys. Because as much as Jalen Hurts and the Eagles win, we don't really talk about him in a really polarizing way like Dak. Tua, he really just has the injuries, and that's the only reason he was really getting talked about. Otherwise, he don't get talked about like that. Aaron Rodgers, he's polarizing, but you don't talk about him like that. It's his other view that really is the reason, but other than that, he doesn't get talked about. So, why does Lamar get talked about? I was like, does at times, I was like, was his accuracy being a problem? Yes. But I was like, also, I was like, he would play it with some receivers who like the 4th option or not on teams anymore. So it's a great assault, but also, like I said too, like it's First Take. Like if there was some other show, I understand, but First Take, stop it. That's what the show does. But yeah, what are your thoughts on Lamar? Are people being too harsh on him? I was like, is it being like the right amount? Do you understand that this is his first take? That is fine. That is not. It's not fine. To talk about, kind of like the way that they're talking about it with not no full explanation. I guess I should say. But anyway, what do you think? Let me know. It is too much Lamar slander. Other than that, I'm out.